Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting edition of the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty, where we are going to review the Christmas gift that we all saw Saturday night. But let's, waiting for some people to get on. We have a lot to talk about. And I know last week we had a little bit of audio technical difficulty. We also had some technical difficulty Monday night when we were trying to do our unscripted year-round award show. And we will bring that to you guys here probably next week due to the fact of the holidays, because it's so hard to bring everybody together now because it is the holidays and it's going to be a new year. And I also want to thank everybody that subscribed to the Triple B Experience. We are close to 600 on YouTube. You can catch us on Spotify. So if you haven't subscribed to any of these shows that I do, please do. I know I got a lot of people on Facebook, and I guarantee that a lot of people haven't subscribed to see all this content, especially with the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty show, where we're going to talk Steelers, which we always do. And we have the other shows of Unscripted and also the Triple B Experience, where we do some interviewing people from all walks of life, which we're going to be doing a lot of that in the year 2023. So hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. Now we're getting into the end of the year, and we're getting into some Steeler football with the last 3 weeks, which we're going to talk about the Raiders game tonight. And also before I want to talk about the Raiders and Steelers game, I want to talk about the passing of Franco Harris that caught me off key and ruined my whole morning when I got the news from Shane Stodmiller, special field correspondent. He sent me a text about almost something 6 in the morning, and he was like, "Bubba, Franco passed away," and I was like, "There is no way." I didn't believe it at first until Channel 4, I believe, broke the news, and I looked at some major news sites, and I seen that, and due to the fact it was going to be the 50th anniversary, they were retiring his number. I'm an old man, so hey, Craig, thank you for tuning in from beautiful Patton, PA. Thank you so much, Craig, and Happy New Year to you. Yeah, it was something for me because I seen Franco Harris play. I wasn't happy when he left when he went to Seattle. I remember as a young kid, I was not happy. But I also too, I remember reading all the Steeler books that I had, listening to him I wasn't allowed to, or I couldn't watch the Steeler games because back then we only had 1 or 2 channels. But I used to see a couple football games because my grandfather was a season ticket holder for the Steelers since 1971. And I was also a season ticket holder for 17 years. So when I comment about Steelers stuff, I truly live and breathe and die Pittsburgh Steelers, guys. And with the passing of Franco, that was something for me because at that time in the 70s, there was no better dynasty than the 70s. Everybody knows that. Being tough with everybody leaving in the 70s due to unemployment and moving away. Like he was part of that team that gave everybody hope and aspirations for something better. And let me get to the Facebook stuff because I know there's some people popping on. And honestly, it was unexpected. I believe it was, hey, Benjamin, thanks for tuning in. Hey, Sean, thanks for tuning in to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty. I'm glad you guys popped on. Happy New Year's to you here. Merry Christmas again to all you guys. He was 72 years old. He was probably promoted. He was just in Indiana, I believe, a week prior to that. He got the, hey, Bob Derry. Greetings from Harrisburg, PA. Thank you, Bob, for tuning in to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty. Go Pitt. Hey, Travis, thanks for tuning in. He was so busy doing promoting and stuff like that for this upcoming 50th anniversary thing where they were going to retire his number. And I'm sure it was very, very emotional. And I've been watching a lot of videos, a lot of highlights, a lot of Steelers past and present talking about the great Franco Harris. It's a shame that he get to see and be on the field when his number got retired. His wife and his son was there. Robert Cook, thanks for tuning in to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of insight. Franco was born, because I wrote this all down because I knew some stuff, but Franco was born March 7th, 1950 in Fort Dix, New Jersey. He also went to Penn State and played for Joe Paterno. He was a big Penn State alumni, huge Penn State alumni. You know, he was drafted by the Steelers in the first round. He was the 13th player selected in the 1972 NFL draft. And I seen some video where he wasn't happy. He didn't want to be drafted a Pittsburgh Steeler. I don't know if you guys ever caught that. But he wasn't happy that he got drafted as a Steeler. But you know what? To his chagrin, Franco Harris never bitched, never complained, and never was saying there was no negative anything about him, which I'm sure I bitch and complain all the time. But Franco Harris was one stand-up guy in the community and in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. During his, like, in the 1972, you know, he had the Immaculate Reception, which that's why we were having him be honored on the 50th anniversary. And that gave the Steelers a 13-7 victory over the Raiders in their first playoff game ever. That was a 60-yard touchdown run, guys. Whatever happened or whatever, that was 60 yards against the Oakland Raiders, who at that time was one of the feared defensive and feared teams in the NFL. 60 yards. Franco was a beast. Franco was, I mean, I could sit here all night and talk about Franco Harris, the man, and his accomplishments. But that was a legendary play. Franco amassed 12,120 career rushing yards with his career with the Pittsburgh Steelers in that 1 year against Seattle, which I'll talk about here a little bit momentarily. He had 100 touchdowns. He had 307 receptions. Hey, Steele, thanks for tuning in. Hey, Shane. He had 307 receptions for 2,287 receiving yards. And he had 8 1,000-yard seasons back then when they ran the damn ball. The Steelers offense, you know, he was selected 9 times to the Pro Bowl. And he was selected the NFL's Decade in the 70s team, of course, because I believe at one time he was so close to breaking a rushing record, I believe Jim Brown was going to come back out of retirement and try to play, and there was no way, because I believe that they had some kind of competition, and Franco blew Jim Brown out of the water. You know, Jim Brown wanted to not see his records are there to be broken, people. You know, but anyway, Franco had he got 4 Super Bowl rings with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm here to tell you, as being a Steeler fan, and Jack Lambert has always said it, because at that time in the playoff game against the Raiders, when the Raiders went to the Super Bowl, well, that's right, I know my stuff, and I'm going to get a little bit of rant of some people that were bashing me today because they don't think I know my stuff. The Pittsburgh Steelers were out Franco and Rocky. They had no running game to go in against the Raiders, and they got shell-shocked. And that year was probably the greatest Steeler team of all time. And Jack Lambert said if they could play that game, drink another case of beer, and replay that game, I guarantee he said it would have been a different outcome. But we lost Franco and Rocky in that game against the Raiders, and I believe the Raiders went to the Super Bowl, and they did whatever. I think they played Minnesota and won. But he played 13 seasons in 1984, 83. He went to the Seattle Seahawks, which I wasn't happy as a kid, but it was due to a contract. But honestly, his leadership and whoever Franco was, he didn't bitch about it, and he led the Seahawks to a 12-4 record and the AFC West title. So, I mean, he went out a winner. Franco Harris never had a losing season in the NFL. So that's more than I can say for a lot of people. He was the 2017 inaugural class of the Steelers Hall of Fame. He was the Walter Payton Man of the Year in 1976. He was the MVP in Super Bowl IX, where he rushed, I believe, 158 yards against the Minnesota Vikings, and that was their first championship ever. Hey, Dana, thanks for tuning in. And he was inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame in 1980. And honestly, guys, and girls, Franco Harris was the all-time Steeler running back in Steeler history, a consummate professional on and off the field. It was tragic that he passed so close to getting his jersey retired, but things must go on. And Shane said he was very gracious to his fans. Everybody, I have an autograph from Frank. I met Franco at a fan event, 93.7 a fan. I went many years ago, and I got him and Rocky Blyer, Grossman. They had Penguins, Pirates, Steelers, Bruno Sammartino. I have it downstairs in my Triple B Bar and Grill. So I have an autograph of Franco Harris. I also got the run of the Immaculate Reception downstairs in my Steeler bar. One of the greatest Steelers to ever grace a Steeler uniform. My condolences to the Steelers world, the Pittsburgh Steelers, his family, his friends, and it was just a tragic thing of what happened because he was so ready to get inducted. He was ready. He was just a consummate player in and out. He was a community man. He did a lot for the community in the Pittsburgh area, and he moved to Pittsburgh. And not a bad word said about Franco Harris, and I will not say a bad word about Franco Harris. He was a Hall of Famer, and God bless him. Just a sad moment for the Steelers, but the moment of the Steelers that were sad had to survive what was going on. Were they going to cancel? They did cancel some stuff with the events. They delayed it. It was cold. Ladies and gentlemen, it was cold as hell last week. It was like the world opened up. It was the second coldest Steeler game in all time. And I believe when I went to the AFC Championship game against the Patriots, it was -7 when I walked out a loser. And I tell you right now, it was cold Christmas Eve. And really, honestly, that was one of the gifts that I wanted, was the gift of the victory. Let's get to that right now as we speak. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Donnie Fulmer, what's up? Robbie, thanks for tuning in. Chris Ward, thanks for tuning in. And Shane says Blyer was another super gracious man. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Vietnam vet and one tough motherfucker is Rocky Blyer. You know, so I just want to say that, and I can swear on my podcast, and that's just the way it is. But I want to appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Let's get to the review of the Christmas Eve special. And I let me tell you something. It was nerve-wracking. I believe 45,000 people, God bless them, toughened it out in that cold and drank some beer and drank some liquor, and they were there. And it seemed like Franco was there in spirit, I believe. Like with Cam Hayward coming out with the 32 flag and pumping up that crowd. And I think Cam Hayward, honestly, was a man possessed. And I'll get to that a little bit later. But honestly, the Steelers with a huge victory Christmas Eve over the Raiders, 13-10. Low-scoring game. It was scaring me in that first drive. And I'll get to that in a moment. But let's get to some Steeler stats. With the quarterback, Kenny Pickett, who was 26 for 39, 244 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception that I don't believe he could see where he was going, and he hurried up and tried to get away with it. But the thing about Kenny Pickett was, that was one mistake. One mistake, people. He was throwing the ball out of bounds when receivers were not open. He doesn't make the same mistake twice, okay? That's what we have to take in on this season. He has 5 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. That's not how I'm liking it, but he's learning. I mean, he's learning under the Matt Canada offense, as we have seen some articles about Matt Canada might not get signed for next year, but which is fine by me. I don't like Matt Canada, and I express my opinion. But if Matt Canada is with the Steelers next year, I'm sure my podcast show will explode off the charts, because I will be very, very adamant if he's not doing the job he has to be if we still have him. And I hope we don't. I think there's some people that we can get. Okay, but also, too, he had 3 rushes for 9 yards, Kenny did. And he had a great quarterback sneak on 4th and 1. I don't know if you guys seen that, where he was behind center. He called Franco, and he went in, and that was with like 55 seconds to go, and that was before he threw that touchdown pass to George Pickens. So he's got a little bit maturity, and I'm okay with Kenny. I just want to see him. And people said down there his arm strength. Don't worry about his arm strength, because he was throwing the ball in fucking some hellacious wind down there. That weather was crazy. It was crazy, and I believe a couple people went to the game, and God bless them. Like I said, now running back Najee Harris had 16 attempts. He had 53 yards. He had 6 receptions for 42 yards. He had a total of 95 yards on offense. He had that nice run where he hurdled the defensive guy. He was getting used more on that drive where they had to score. And I'm okay with that. I mean, if you're going to win, you go down and put it in. I'm okay with that. Okay. And Jaylen Warren had 6 rushes, 23 yards. Now, the play that everybody, when the Steelers got the ball back, they needed a first down. Connor Hayward had that nice little run there for 21 yards. That was the most yards that the Steelers ran for at one time the whole game. Now, they had 106 yards total rushing yards. I'm okay with that too. And they also had now I'm not okay with Boswell missing field goals, but it's to be understandable. Hey, Eric, thanks for tuning into the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty. It's okay and it's understandable due to the winds down there and as cold as it was. He missed a 52-yarder. He made a 40 and a 44. If he would have made another one of them field goals, it wouldn't be as high-strung and a heart attack going into the last 5 minutes of that Steeler game. Well, look, we're not scoring a lot of points, people. That's just the way it is. Tight end Pat Freiermuth led all receivers with 7 receptions, 66 yards. Dante Johnson, 5 receptions, 64 yards, and he still doesn't have a touchdown. With 2 games into the season left, no touchdowns. I've never seen that in my entire life as a Steeler fan where supposedly the number 1 receiver doesn't have Matt Canada couldn't even fucking wrap him up a touchdown, in all these games. You know what I mean? So, hey, Freight Train, thanks for tuning in. I hope you had a Merry Christmas too. Thank you so much. Freight Train from Steelers Realm Podcast. He does a show called Off the Rail after every Steeler game. I know you haven't been feeling well, brother, because I've been listening to your shows. Hopefully you're getting better and you can get back in and chime out some Steeler positivity, with the good stuff. Now, you got to talk about the bad stuff too. But thanks for tuning in, brother. Thank you so much. We got receiver George Pickens, had 5 receptions, 57 yards, and that huge touchdown. I'm okay, guys, if the rookies of the year will be Pickett and Pickens. I'm okay with co-MVPs. All right, he'll be back Thursday. So if you want to listen to the Steelers Realm Podcast, tune in. Freight Train will be back Thursday. So, yeah, I'm okay with that. Co-MVP, rookies of the year. Greg, thanks for tuning in. I'm okay with that. So the Steelers offense had a total of 350 total yards, and they scored 10 points in the fourth quarter, which God bless America, because during the fourth quarter and second half, the Steelers offense is about as invisible as my waistline. And right now it's I got a lot of work to do with that. That's another story altogether. But like I said, Boswell, he was 2 out of 4. He missed 2 due to the weather conditions. Now the Steelers defense, let's get to this. The Steelers defense had 3 sacks, 2 with Cam Hayward, 1 with Alex Highsmith, who I think should have went to the Pro Bowl and got snubbed. That's my opinion. I don't think TJ Watt should have went to the Pro Bowl. I think Alex Highsmith would have. TJ got in there on name recognition and just being TJ Watt. But poor Alex Highsmith got snubbed. I believe that. 3 interceptions, 1 by Fitzpatrick, 1 by Arthur Mollett, and a nice one by Cam Sutton to shut him down with 30 seconds left in the game. Good old Cam Sutton. I'm okay with that too. Robert Spillane led the tackles with 7. Cam Hayward, I'm telling you what, Cam Hayward was out of control. Cam Hayward had so many tackles. He had 2 sacks. Like I said, he played like a man possessed, and I believe he was possessed because he wanted to play great for Franco in his memory. This is the best game all year, Cam Hayward. Hey, Big Mike. Hey, Tarantula, thanks for tuning in. Hi, Tanya. Thanks for tuning in to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty. I believe that Cam Hayward, best game in a long time, happened Christmas Eve. And I tell you what, it was the ghost of Christmas past, Christmas present, and hopefully we can get some Christmas future Hopefully we can get some more. We got 2 more games to go. Ladies and gentlemen, we have, I believe, a small percentage. There can be a chance that the Steelers make the playoffs, and we will know because the game this Sunday got flexed to 8:30. I don't know if you guys knew that. Hi, Pastor Adams. Rick, thanks for tuning in. It got moved Sunday night. Thank God. God bless America, because I don't like working during a Steeler game. I have to work, but I'm not focusing on my job when the Steelers are playing. But the Steelers defense, let's get to some Raiders stats. The Steelers defense were playing, except for that first drive, the Steelers held the Raiders to a total of 201 yards. 58 of it was on the ground. So whatever they got chicken noodle soup on the sidelines, I mean, whatever they needed, they used. They were the run defense this game, which should have been a couple games ago. It's sporadic. It is sporadic, guys. It's sporadic. Some of these games the Steelers should have won. We wouldn't even be talking about like a slight chance getting into the playoffs because we'd already be there. That's just the way it goes. The ball bounces, and that's go. Derek Carr was 16 out of 30, 174 yards for a touchdown. He had 3 interceptions. Now, that first drive that Carr had was 14 plays. It took up 8 minutes and 25 seconds in the first quarter. I was like, holy heck, I hope this ain't going to be the start of something big here. And by God, it wasn't. Josh Jacobs, the NFL's leading rusher, 15 attempts, was held to 44 yards. Unreal. I'll take it. Tight end, Waller, 4 receptions, 58 yards. Renfro was 4 for 42 and 1 touchdown. I mean, I thought Cam Sutton played that pretty good, but he just made a juke and jive, and he went into the end zone. It was too long. The defense was tired. It was just too long of a drive. They need to stop the third downs, but that was the only drive. Everything else, I can't bitch about. Linebacker Perryman had the only interception for the Raiders, and then he picked off that Kenny Pickett pass where I don't think Kenny could see much because his offensive line was in front of him, and I don't think he's seen right. He might have been getting a little pressure, but he didn't get sacked one bit, so the offensive line kept Kenny Pickett clean. They had no sacks or Raiders. Okay, probably cost people some jobs because I think Derek Carr is out of quarterback after this. I just don't know, and honestly, I don't care. It was a great Steelers victory Christmas Eve. It was something that 50 years, all the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was good for the organization to win that for Franco, no matter what our record was. Here we go. Oh, I'm not trying to jump ahead. Oh, you're not. Okay. Yeah, but also too, you got to remember Freight Train. Guess who his offensive coordinator is? That's the thing, and they're saying they're starting to gel. We shall see. He's got 2 more games to go. I would like to see him. Let's just put it that way. I'd like to see him even out with 9 touchdowns and no more picks, and just go with that. And then just take this year as a learning experience, get him a little bit more better, accustomed to some Steelers offense, and get some better plays for him. Maybe let him do that. That would be good. Hey, Beth Bodsford Booth, thanks for tuning in. I know you have a lot to gripe about, and I'm with you too on a lot of stuff. Joshua, thanks for tuning in to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty. Let's just put it this way. Like, I go to a lot of Steeler sites, and look, I'm a Steeler fan. If you could see my wall, you could see downstairs. I've been a Steeler fan for a long, long time. And I just give my opinion. This podcast, I just give my opinion about what I would like to see. Look, I know Mike Tomlin's not leaving, okay? But I don't have to be happy with Mike Tomlin's coaching performance. I'm allowed to say that on certain Steeler group sites, but when I do, I'm lambasted for it. That's okay. That's okay. I don't have time to sit there and on my phone, and I'll take a couple jabs. I like to start a little controversy, but I'm not starting controversy. Hey, I believe he's going to be a Hall of Fame coach. Yes. What has he done lately? Any other place and any other job, everybody would be fired. It's the simple facts. Mike Tomlin had the greatest offensive weapons probably in Steelers history, and there's nothing on my hands. Okay, nothing on my hands. No rings. Hey, April, thanks for tuning in to the Triple B Black and Gold Dynasty. So I make a comment about he's not going to leave, but he's mediocre. Mike Tomlin is mediocre, and I get bashed for it. You know what I mean? Like, they bring my mother in, they bring my fucking fiance in, because I don't give a honestly, I don't care what color anybody is. Okay, I want a good coach. I want a coach that wins championships. That's what I want. I want fucking playoff champions. I want to get in the playoffs, win some championships. So I haven't seen a playoff. We lost to a special teams coach in Cleveland. Ben Roethlisberger was just it was out of control. And like I said, and I guess I'm guilty in this little rant that I'm going on. You know what I mean? Mike Tomlin against Jacksonville, 45-42, and we haven't seen pay dirt yet. So it's mediocrity. That's all I'm saying. But if you people as Mike Tomlin fans or want to see that, I don't want to see that. I want to see playoff wins. I want to see championship wins. I want to see the Pittsburgh Steelers. Look, I'm getting on my screen. I want to see the Pittsburgh Steelers not worry about everybody else winning or losing to get into the playoffs. This happens all the time. I don't want to see that. I want to see dominance on teams that we're supposed to be dominating on, supposed to win the games we're supposed to win, like the Jets game and the New England game. But when I say something, I'm a no-good mother effer, okay? That's got nothing to do with it. And I just said mediocre because right now he's mediocre. Maybe next year will be a little different. But how long does the Steelers fans wait for a playoff win? Another 10 years? I'll be 61 fucking years old. Are you kidding me? He's not leaving. He's going to have to retire or go somewhere else. Maybe he is a little stale. I don't know. A lot of people agree with me. I'm not a minority when it comes to saying that, but I guess when I say it on other sites, you know what I mean? I get bashed. I'm not an NFL coach. I'm not a high school coach. I don't sit here and call plays. Okay, my little rant. Hey, when I play Madden, it's 5 wide. I'm running shotgun trying to score quick. Or I'm trying to run the ball. They don't even do that hardly anymore in the NFL. It's all passing league. So you don't want me as a head coach. A guy told me to be a head coach. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a head coach just because you didn't like my comments. You know, everybody's allowed to have their opinion. We do live in America. And my opinion is I think Tomlin will go to the Hall of Fame. He will never be fired. But if you like mediocrity, I do not. That's all I'm saying. We need to win a playoff game. I'm not the only one. It's got nothing to do with who he is. I'm sure Mike Tomlin's great in the community. He's great. But what has he done lately is all I'm saying. He's going to rally us. It's either going to be 8-9 or 9-8. He's going to have his first losing season maybe, or we're going 9-8 and waiting for people to win. And sitting by the phone, seeing if we have a slight chance to get in the playoffs, because the Steelers that I know didn't have to wait for the phone call or wait to watch TV. We already did our job, and we already clinched it right about 3 weeks before this. We did. Tell me I'm wrong, because I'm not. That's what I want to see. I want to see Pittsburgh Steelers football where we're fucking feared when we go in town, not people cracking jokes, and we could barely score 13 points. That was my rant. I'm done with it. I'm done with the rant now. I just wanted to put that out there. But also, too, I wanted to do my Triple B player of the game. My Triple B player of the game. First, we'll have, not in any order, is Pratt Freiermuth. Spillane, who had a lot of tackles. Stopped that good running game of the Raiders. Kenny Pickett, 244 yards and a touchdown. Fitzpatrick had an interception and kept Dante Adams from 2 receptions. He had 2 receptions for 15 yards. God bless America. People thought that Adams was going to scorch us. He did not scorch us. He was out getting a cheeseburger, and he never came back. Najee Harris. And this guy, Cam Hayward, had the most possessed game I've seen him play in a long time. And if he's 30-some years old, he didn't look 33, 34, however old he is. He played like he was 24. And if he plays like that, give me one more year, Cam. Give me one more year if you could play that cat. Possessed. But also, 2, my Triple B player of the game is Cam Hayward, by God, for 2 sacks, stuffing up some run holes, and making the Raiders cry like the bitches that they are. Josh McDaniels, F.U., Raider Nation, the black hole sucked you in, and you came to Pittsburgh. Oh, I agree. It doesn't have to be every year, Freight Train, but we can be competitive, and people fear us. That's all I'm talking about. There's no fear. There's no eye of the tiger when we go to – they don't fear us. Teams don't fear us anymore, and that's got to stop. We got to be intimidated when we go into other people's stadiums and smash mouth football sometimes with some scoring and smash mouth and throwing the ball. You got to do that too. Equal, I guess. But yeah, I agree with you. So yes, my Triple B player of the game is Cam Hayward. And I appreciate all you guys for tuning in to this review of the Steelers 13-10 over the Las Vegas Raiders. You know, and then when Franco sees Madden up in heaven, he can say, hey, look, I 60-yard touchdown. I beat you. 60-yard touchdown. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Please hit like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Listen to this show on Spotify. If you just jumped on, I do some replays. I'm trying to get everything done towards the end of the year. I'm the one-man band right now, and we will see next week when we do our year-round unscripted award show with myself, Mav, and Cable. We couldn't do it Monday due to some circumstances, but that's just how we go. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Steeler fans, I love you, and I do love the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm allowed to bitch a little bit, and it was a little rant. I'm sorry, but when people that don't even know me, I understand, but I guess you can't give your opinion anywhere. Nobody wants to hear your opinion. I guess, you know, I guess you got to kiss ass. I'm not an ass kisser by any means. So, everybody hit like, subscribe to the Triple B Experience. I'll see you guys Friday where we're going to review the hated, it's the hated Baltimore Ravens down in Baltimore, and that game is flexed to Sunday night at 8:20, thank God, so I don't have to watch it at work. God bless America. There is a God. And there was a God, and Franco was waving his terrible towel with Myron Cope. Christmas Eve night, 13-10 victory over the Raiders. Okay, everybody, thank you guys. Please hit like and subscribe. Please support me. I am a small little podcast. I got big aspirations, but I'm a small podcast, and with all your help, it can explode into bigger and better things. I truly appreciate you guys. I truly appreciate talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, win or lose. I'm still a Steeler fan. I just want to see a little better, and I'm allowed to. You know, so thank you guys for tuning in. I love everybody. Hey, everybody, I'll see you guys Friday night. Like I said, okay, people, take care. Go Steelers. I'll see you guys Friday night when we're talking against the hated pieces of crap Ravens. Okay, guys, good night. Good night.